Picture a flatbed wrecker, a heavy-duty tow truck, coming down a mountain grade with a wrecked SUV chained to the deck. The driver has done this run 100 times. He taps the brake to hold his speed, and the pedal feels a little soft. He taps again, softer. By the third tap, there's a smell coming through the vents, sharp and metallic, like a hot iron left face down on a shirt. The speedometer is climbing. The brakes have stopped answering. That smell is the sound of physics winning. A loaded tow truck is one of the only vehicles on the road that can change its own weight in the time it takes to hook a chain. The moment it does, the brakes it left the shop with are fighting a problem they were never built for. This is why the people who design wreckers obsess over stopping power the way other engineers obsess over horsepower. For them, going is easy. Stopping is the whole job. Start with the obvious part. A heavy-duty wrecker is big. A full rotator, the kind that flips overturned semis back onto their wheels, can weigh 60,000 pounds before it picks anything up. That alone puts it deep into commercial truck territory. But raw weight isn't really the problem. Bridges are heavy and they don't need brakes. The problem is that a tow truck's weight refuses to sit still. The instant it lifts a stranded pickup, its working mass might jump from 20,000 pounds to 28, well past the GVWR it was rated for at the factory. Hook a loaded box truck instead, and the number climbs harder. The vehicle that has to stop at the bottom of the hill is not the vehicle that got rated at the factory. Here's the part most people get wrong. When you double the weight a truck is hauling, you don't double the difficulty of stopping it. You double the energy its brakes have to swallow. Kinetic energy is 1/2 mass times velocity squared. Mass sits right there in the formula, so twice the mass is twice the energy every time. And all that energy has to go somewhere, because brakes only know one trick. They turn motion into heat. So a wrecker that hooks a heavy load and points downhill is asking its brakes to absorb roughly double the heat they'd handle empty. Same drums, same airflow. Often the same grade it climbs every week. The brakes don't grow when the load goes on. The job just gets twice as hard, silently, in the space of one chain. And heat is the part that actually kills people. Hold that thought, because it's where this whole story ends up. Quick thing before we get into how engineers beat this, because that's the good part. If you've ever looked at a machine and wondered why it's built the way it is, why heavy trucks run on air when your car runs on fluid, why a brand new electric SUV still hides drum brakes in the back, that question is the entire reason this channel exists. One piece of hardware nobody thinks about, taken apart until the reason it exists makes sense. If that's your kind of curiosity, subscribe and stick around. The next video is about a brake that holds 100 tons in the air, and it's wild. Okay, back to the wrecker. When a passenger car brakes, one system does the work. You press a pedal, fluid squeezes a pad against a disc, the car slows. For a car, that's plenty. A heavy wrecker can't lean on that because friction brakes have a ceiling. Push them past it and they quit. So a tow truck doesn't carry one braking system. It carries a stack of them, and each layer exists to keep the one below it from being overwhelmed. The foundation is air. Instead of the hydraulic fluid in your car, a big wrecker runs on compressed air, usually held between 100 and 120 psi by a compressor bolted to the engine. Press the pedal and you aren't pushing fluid down a line. You're releasing air into a chamber at each wheel, and that air gets converted into mechanical force that drives a shoe against an S-cam drum. The most common brake configuration on heavy trucks, and the reason commercial vehicle requirements under FMVSS 121 exist in the first place. Air buys you something fluid can't. A hydraulic line that springs a leak leaves you with no brakes. An air system that loses pressure does the opposite. Spring-loaded brakes slam on by themselves. On a heavy truck, stopped is the default. You spend air pressure to keep it rolling. Lose the air, and it stops whether you asked it to or not. That's really three systems sharing one set of plumbing. Service brakes for normal driving. parking brakes that lock with spring force, and an emergency function that grabs on its own if pressure falls too far, usually somewhere between 20 and 45 psi. But the air brakes are still friction brakes, and friction still means heat. On a long descent with a heavy load, that heat has nowhere to go. So the wrecker adds a second layer that slows the truck without touching the friction brakes at all: the engine itself. A diesel engine brake, the Jacobs engine brake, which is where the term Jake brake comes from, is the source of that machine gun bark you've heard rolling off a mountain pass. It turns the engine into an air pump that fights the truck instead of driving it. On a normal compression stroke, the piston squeezes air, and that compressed air springs back and helps push the piston down again. The engine brake waits until the top of that stroke, and then dumps the compressed air straight out the exhaust. The spring back never comes. Now the engine has to drag the piston back down with no help at all, and that wasted effort pulls speed out of the truck. The force is huge. A big diesel can make nearly as much braking power through its own engine as it makes horsepower going forward. That's why a good operator coming down a grade might barely brush the brake pedal. The engine holds the speed, and the friction brakes stay cool, saved for the one moment that genuinely needs them. Some rigs add a third layer between engine and wheels: a driveline retarder, a hydraulic version. Like the system's Voith and Allison transmission integrate into their drivelines, shears oil between spinning vanes to create drag. An electromagnetic version, like a Telma retarder, drags a metal disc through a field. Neither uses a pad or a shoe, so neither wears out the way friction brakes do. They aren't built to bring a truck to a full stop. They're built to bleed off speed quietly, all day, so the real brakes never get cooked. And then there's the layer almost everyone forgets: the thing being towed. A vehicle on the hook is dead weight shoving the wrecker forward from behind. The clever move is to make it help. Heavy recovery rigs can reach into the air system and apply the towed vehicle's own brakes at the same moment as their own. So the load isn't just being stopped, it's helping stop itself. The truck pulls up shorter, and the wrecker's brakes catch a brake they badly need. So when someone asks why tow trucks need insane braking power, the honest answer is that they don't get it from one insane brake, they get it from layers. Air that fails safe, an engine that fights the hill, a retarder that never tires, and the load itself finally pulling its weight. Now go back to that flatbed at the top of the hill. Soft pedal, smell in the cab. We can name exactly what went wrong. The driver used his friction brakes to hold speed the whole way down, instead of letting the engine carry the load. Every tap turned a little more motion into heat, and the drums climbed hotter with nowhere to shed it. Past a certain temperature, the brake lining, the friction material bonded to the shoe, stops gripping. The very material whose job is friction simply lets go. That's brake fade, and it gives no warning. One stretch of road the brakes work, the next they're gone, and the truck weighs far more than the day it was built because of the load riding on its back. This is the exact emergency those runaway ramps on mountain highways were built for. Those long uphill gravel beds you've driven past and never used. They exist because brake fade on a loaded truck isn't a maybe. It's arithmetic, and the bill always comes due. The fix was never a stronger pedal. It was realizing that on a grade, the friction brakes are the reserve, not the tool. The engine brake does the daily work. The friction brakes wait for the emergency. Run a loaded wrecker the other way around, and that smell in the cab is the only warning you'll get. If you made it this far, you understand more about how that truck stops than most of the people who drive past one every day. So I'm curious. Have you ever heard an engine brake echo down a valley and wondered what on earth it was? Or had one rattle your windows at 2 in the morning? Drop it in the comments, because that sound is one of my favorite pieces of engineering anywhere on the road. And if you want more of these, the subscribe button is sitting right there. A tow truck's stopping power isn't one heroic brake. It's a stack of systems, each covering for the limits of the one beneath it, all of it bolted around a single hard fact. The load can double in seconds, and the heat doubles right along with it. wrecker at least gets to keep its weight on the ground. The next brake we're looking at has a far worse job. It holds 100 tons of molten metal in the air on a single hook with nothing underneath it, and it is not allowed to slip even once. The engineering that makes that safe is honestly a little terrifying. That's next. I'll see you there.